Our guest today is Dr. Eugenia Franklin Springer, someone who's no stranger to us here on Caribbeana. It's only that we're in a different kind of technology. Welcome, and how are you doing, Eugenia?
Good, good, thank you. Taking longer to access the Zoom
Yes,
technology that
yes,
I've been
yes.
working with for years.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, well, I want to congratulate you. I understand and I've observed that you have received an award in African Women's Association of Trinidad and Tobago, an award called the Shiro. Tell us a bit about that. We're proud of you, by the way. Yeah?
Yeah, we have to thank the head of the African Women's Association of Trinidad and Tobago, a very far-sighted woman, Lilla Williams. And Lilla, with her group, her hardworking group of and I should say faithful members of this association. They're in Trinidad. Um, some time ago, decided to select, I think, 12 women, one for each month of the year.
Uh-huh.
And they issued a calendar honoring every month, honoring one of these women.
Yes, yes, yeah.
And as you know, I'm in California.
Right, right, right.
So I had not been in direct communication with the association. There's another association that I'm very close to also, the Traditional African Women's Association of Trinidad and Tobago. The leader of that one is Akende Rudder. Also another group of diligent, faithful, hardworking women. And these groups are dedicated to supporting women who are making contributions.
Mm-hmm.
Their main task is the contributions they make to the country of Trinidad and Tobago. They have their annual programs.
Right,
So
right.
some time ago, my name was entered in this group, into this group, the Sheroes, a play on the word heroes.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. And so I was surprised when my dear cousin, who was also a member of this organization, Petal Dawn Hinkson, Carlton's cousin, sent me this Facebook link. So I sent it out to some of my friends and
Right,
associates.
right, right, right.
Uh, and I really appreciate it because they are honoring the service that came through me over the years to TNT and beyond.
Yes.
But I appreciate it more because it's not so much what Eugenia Springer has done, but it is the shoulders of the others on whom Eugenia Springer um, depended,
Right, right,
not depended, but they contributed. Let's put it this way: they welcomed me when I
right,
returned to Trinidad and Tobago,
right, right,
and this award would not have been possible hadn't I received such a warm and gigantic welcome from men and women of
right,
Trinidad and Tobago.
right, right,
And
right.
I would like to mention a few names because I can't mention all the names. All the names is a publication in itself.
Yes, yes, yes.
But one of the first persons to have introduced me back to the Trinidad and Tobago culture was a guy called Von Martin. You were the foundation person to introduce me back to Trinidad and Tobago as we went through Amber with
Yeah.
Alfred
Oh, yeah.
Agiton
Right, right, right.
and
Astra da Costa.
yes,
Yes, yes, yes, yes.
Astra da Costa.
Yeah.
And when you sent me there to do an interview, It's as though you knew that I would be in Trinidad and Tobago, and as though you were paving the way. I had no idea because you paid for that trip. Now, I was going to Antigua with
Right,
our dear friend, Dr. Michael Allen,
right, right, right.
uh, we were part of a family life program. He invited me to be the rapporteur. I hadn't heard of the word before with all my education.
Yes.
I didn't even know what it was about. But
Yes.
Michael, he just helped me.
Yes.
He saw something in me. I had published, I think I had published the book Girl, It's All About You.
Yes. Yes.
And so on the shoulders, on the acceptance of people like Dr. Michael Allen,
Right. Right.
who
Yeah.
passed a few years ago,
Yeah.
people like Von Martin, um, people like that friend we had from Grenada, who was then the representative to the United Nations for Grenada. And she had us involved in things in
Oh,
OAS.
Decima Williams.
Decima, because Decima took part in my art shows when
Right.
I was promoting artists from the Caribbean. I
Right.
had them
Right.
in show at the Martin Luther King Library and all of that.
Yeah.
People, people like that, we met in Washington
Yeah.
and we supported one another. And then you introduced me back to Trinidad, Vaughn.
Yeah.
And I met, I think because of that, Clara Rosa de Lima, who was an activist in her own right back then. And Clara Rosa de Lima arranged with me to meet somewhere in the US. I remember the meeting. I don't remember the city. I don't remember anything. All I remember, Clara is telling me, you need to come back to Trinidad.
Yeah.
And she had me write some little article for something she was publishing. I don't remember where it was or what it was. And she featured that, maybe it was online, I don't know.
Yes.
And I went back and I met people like Rona Batiste
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and her husband,
Um, yeah.
who passed a few
Right.
years
Right. Right.
ago.
Yeah.
They were the heads, they led out in the Express and in the Junior Express.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Powerful forces.
Yes.
And then Selvin Ragunanan,
Right. Right. Right.
who
Right.
insisted with Gabriel Francis at Radio Trinidad that
Yeah.
Eugenia be given a program.
Right. Right.
So I'm thankful, you know, for people like that. And then we came on later on, and Ansel McFarlane.
Yes. Yes.
You wouldn't know his name, but he played a tremendous role in my contributions
Right.
through my sister-in-law Hyacinth Springer Cross.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
She put me on to salary. She put me on to Ansel. Ansel managed me, and did so many good things. And it is through persons like this. So eventually I met Louis Leasing,
Right. Right. Right.
and he was just starting out for 1 or 2
Right.
with Tony and Dale.
Right.
And
Right.
Tony and Dale came to the little old place where I was staying because I didn't have a home. We went to my husband's old family place.
Yeah.
And these are persons on whose shoulders I stood. And don't talk about people. I used to be an Adventist. I sent them a letter in 1979 saying I have forged a one-on-one relationship with God. I
Right.
can no longer be accountable to any organization or person for my spiritual development.
Right. Right.
But the people of that, they were my family as I grew up from age 5 in
Yeah.
Trinidad.
Yeah.
And I came to the US and they were my family, still are my family.
Yeah.
And all the mothers and fathers from that community who supported me through the years.
Yeah.
So if you see Eugenia Springer, she wrote for November 2020.
Right. It's a lot of work that.
Eugenia Springer is just here as a manifestation of the divine one who
Right.
holds us all together,
Right.
and all these other fellow travelers.
Yes. 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 And amidst all of this, you had the opportunity to author 12 books.
Yes, it isn't hard if you are writing your thoughts, it isn't hard to write them when they're flowing so forcefully.
Right,
So it's
right.
a lot of paper. I have a lot of manuscripts there,
Yeah,
and it isn't difficult. It's the public may not see them as hot selling topics, but they flow from the soul. And
yes,
when I read them, I'm inspired.
yeah,
So they are out here, they are on Amazon.
right.
And the last one is one I wrote many years ago, but I'm now putting it out there, The Path of Healing,
Yes, yes,
because
yes,
we all need healing. When my only son was 7, he came down with juvenile diabetes.
yes.
And I think that had a big part to play in me finding myself out here,
Okay.
because I was looking for healing.
Right,
And
right.
in looking for healing for him physically, I realized spiritual healing of myself,
Yes,
because I had so many flaws. I mean, I was a mess when
yes,
it came to being a parent and getting along with my dear mother-in-law who loved me, but my insecurity peaked so much.
right, right, right.
I was not the nicest thing to her. We had a lovely relationship,
Yeah,
and I praise her name. She's one of those on whose shoulders I stood, or I
right.
still stand. But looking for physical healing for my son,
Yes,
I found, because in the religious community in which I grew up, I knew about Jesus, I knew about God,
right,
and I was never one to play with religion.
right.
I always sought to live true to myself, thanks to my dad, who also instilled that in me. Not the most perfect person, many find him very imperfect, but he instilled in me the need to be honest with self. And it is driven by that self honesty that I sought healing for my own spirit. So,
Right.
what the public is seeing and giving thanks for,
Yes,
even
yes,
up to today, new members on my Zoom, giving thanks for the influence I've had in them, it's me discovering that, hey, I am just not a little nobody in comparison to some others.
right, right.
Nobody's a nobody. I am important regardless of how insecure I feel,
Right,
regardless of how many mistakes I have made.
right.
I, this, if I dedicate all aspects of me to be used by the presence within, I can do a great work.
Right, right, right.
And there's a song that I learned in that Adventist community. Not I, but Christ. Be honored, loved, exalted.
Right. I
Not
remember,
I,
I
but
remember,
Christ.
I remember you were struggling with a book of poetry that you had done. I'm
Yes?
looking for a name, and I'm looking at
And you were there.
and I'm looking at the name, and I said, "These are words of a Caribbean woman."
You came to me, you said, Eugenia, you can't go out there just as Eugenia Franklin Springer. Nobody knows you.
Right,
You have to go out there with a label, and your label is a Caribbean woman. You
right.
have to go out there as a Caribbean woman, and that way your book will draw attention.
Yes.
And you said, name your book Words of a Caribbean Woman, which is what I did.
Right, 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 right. Yes,
And,
yes,
and poetry thrives in my soul. So
yes,
what I'm saying that what the name Eugenia Springer, Franklin Springer, is being honored today
yes,
for the services and contributions she has made, because she realized she needed spiritual healing.
yes, yes,
And
yes,
as you and I pursue our spiritual transformation, others are going to be blessed because they're going through similar situations. Might
yes,
be different in detail,
yes, yes.
but ultimately the same need for healing.
Yes. Well, I'm seeing a situation that's has impacted on us all now. I mean, you're in California, so I'm sure there are people who are you're seeing impacted on it, and that's the outcome of this recent election
Yes,
here in the United States.
yes.
And there's such a gloom and doom, and how do you treat that?
The gloom and doom is on those who had their expectations and certain outcome. And let me say from the start, I am not part of the gloom and doom.
Yes, yes.
Because thank God, this spiritual transformation led me to the place to know that there's only one power. There are appearances of other power, but God is omnipotent. And my silent prayer was that what is best for this country at this time be. I don't know the whole picture. So when we learn to allow that which we cannot change,
yeah,
and allow the Spirit to work in us, when listen, whoever it is you didn't want is guided by the same God you are guided by. I could see the worst in you, and I could talk about the worst in you. It is the same God of mercy and grace that redeems you, that redeems the others, that redeem me.
right, right, right.
So what I have to say to folks, there is a power that is in control of kingdoms. Some rise, some fall. That's the story of history. We have to make sure that there is no resentment and hate within us. You may not want certain personalities in certain positions, but make sure that you are not consumed with resentment and hate. So that while you're condemning someone for being that way, you are being the same way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As you allow the love of God to occupy your mind, you allow the presence within to guide your thinking and your words. You make sure that whatever comes from you is uplifting.
Yes, yes.
You're not fighting, you can't fight against powers.
Right, right.
You can only be used by the Spirit within to do what you have to do where you are at the time.
Right, 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 right.
And nothing can throw you down when you are aligned with the power within. And I say that for those who got the outcome they wish for and those who got the outcome they didn't wish for.
Right, right, right. Eugenia, it's always a pleasure talking to you. And I hope we can do this a little more often, not stay as long as we have, but to keep getting into the flow because you give such a smooth spiritual upliftment in your words. And I think it is good that people can listen and hear, you know. Any last things you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah. Let us work with ourselves. As you work with yourself and I work with myself, and allow this Christ spirit. People talk about Christ. Christ is not a person in your heart and in my heart, in your mind and my mind. This is a cosmic reality. This power of love, this power of God, this energetic unity. We are all in this together. And the love vibrations are more powerful than the hate vibrations. So let us have love nurtured within us and relate to everybody out of love. Treat your brother as you would like to be treated. Treat your sister as you would like to be treated. And let the words of your mouth and the meditations of your heart be acceptable to this universal force of goodness that we call God, the source of everything.
We've been speaking with Dr. Eugenia Franklin Springer. She's an author. She's a specialist in the words of many. And she's also the shiro of African Trinidadians, African women's in Trinidad and Tobago. Again, thank you so
For
much.
November.
For November, the
November
month of
2024.
November.
Yes.
All right, okay. But for us, you're it, period. You take care.
Thank
This
you.
is Ron Martin. This is Ron Martin. Caribbeana continues.